Lockdown, a Westbrook High horror story. My name is Tyler Reeves. I am a junior at Westbrook High School in Columbus. Oh yo, I am writing this down because I need people to know what actually happened that night. Not the version the school board released, not the official statement. The real version, because the man who caused all of it, he's still out there. And last night, I looked out my bedroom window and saw someone standing in the parking lot, completely still, staring up at me. His eyes were solid white, but I'll get to that. Let me start from the beginning. November 14th, 4:47 am. The library at Westbrook was almost empty by the time school ended. Almost. My best friend Jade Carter and I were still there, buried in app history notes for Mrs. Patterson's assignment. The deadline was the next morning, and neither of us had even started the outline. Jade checked her phone and groaned. "Tyler, I told my mom I'd be home by 5. She's already texted me twice." 10 more minutes, I said. "Just help me finish this section." She rolled her eyes but stayed put. That was Jade. She complained constantly, but she never actually left. The library intercom crackled. We both looked up. "Attention all students and staff. This is not a drill. We are now in lockdown protocol. Please secure your location immediately. Do not open any doors. Do not approach any windows." The voice belonged to Principal Henderson, but something was off about it. Her voice was cracking at the edges, like she'd been crying right before she pressed the button. Jade and I stared at each other. "That's never happened before," she whispered. I got up, crossed the room, and locked the library door. Then I turned off the overhead lights. The room went dim, lit only by the gray afternoon light coming through the windows. I moved to the nearest window and looked out at the parking lot. It was completely empty. No police cruisers, no teachers running across the lot, no students, no movement at all, just silence. "There's nobody out there," I said. "Tyler." Jade's voice had dropped to barely a whisper. "Tyler, there's someone behind that shelf." I turned around slowly. The far corner of the library, the fiction section, was deep in shadow, but in that shadow there was a shape, a silhouette, standing perfectly still, facing us. My throat tightened. "Hello?" No answer. I grabbed my phone and switched on the flashlight. I swept the beam across the corner. Nothing, just a dark overcoat hanging on one of the hooks near the back wall. The angle of the shadows had made it look like a person. We both exhaled at the exact same time. "Oh my God," Jade laughed, that nervous, shaky laugh you do when your heart is still racing. I almost passed out. I laughed too. And then I noticed the overcoat was moving, not swaying, not shifting in a draft. Moving, like something was inside it, pressing against the fabric from within. I took a step toward it. I grabbed the sleeve and yanked the coat off the hook. Nothing was behind it, but the inside of the coat. The lining was wet, dark brown, soaked through. Jade made a sound like she'd been punched in the stomach. "That's blood," she said quietly. "Tyler, that's blood." I dropped the coat. My hands were shaking, and that's when someone knocked on the library door. One knock. 2, 3, then silence. Then a voice not through the intercom, not muffled, but right there, inches from the other side of the door. "Tyler, open the door. It's just me. I'm alone." Jade turned to look at me. The voice on the other side of that door was mine. My exact voice. My cadence. My accent. My tone. "Tyler," Jade breathed. "Is that you?" "I am right here," I said. My mouth was completely dry. "I'm standing right here." Whatever was on the other side of that door was not me. 5:19 am. We stayed barricaded behind the reference shelves for the next 20 minutes. Nobody knocked again. Nobody spoke. Then the intercom clicked back on. "Attention. The threat has been contained. Please remain in your rooms until further notice. Remain calm." But this time, the voice wasn't Mrs. Henderson's. It was flat, mechanical, like someone had fed her voice into a machine and removed every trace of humanity from it. I tried my phone, no signal. Jade tried hers, no signal. I tried to connect to the school Wi-Fi. The password had been changed. Someone is controlling the entire school's communication system from the inside, Jade said. Every speaker, every network, every camera. I moved back to the window. And this time the parking lot wasn't empty. There was a figure standing in the center of it, maybe 60 yards out. Just standing there, facing the building, facing my window. I raised my hand and waved. Maybe it was a teacher, a cop, someone who could help. The figure didn't move. It just watched. 5:35 am. The back door of the library, the emergency exit, that was always locked, swung open. Jade and I dropped behind the nearest shelf. A figure stumbled in, breathing hard. Torn jacket, blood on his hands. He was shaking so badly his teeth were chattering. I recognized him immediately. Marcus Webb, a sophomore. We shared a lunch period sometimes. Please, he gasped. Please, just hide me. He's looking for me. He's already been through the south wing. I stepped out from behind the shelf. Marcus, what happened to you? Who's looking for you? Marcus grabbed my shirt with both fists. His eyes were wild and unfocused. You were in the library, right, all afternoon. Then you didn't see him in the corridor. See who? His voice dropped to almost nothing. Mr. Calloway. The room went very quiet. Jade spoke first. Marcus, Mr. Calloway has been dead for 3 years. Every student at Westbrook knew the story. Mr. Daniel Calloway had been the most popular history teacher in the school's history. 17 years in that building. He was found in the basement on a Monday morning in October, 3 years ago. Official cause of death, cardiac arrest. I know he's dead, Marcus said. His voice broke. I know, but I saw him. Tyler, corridor B. He was walking toward me. He looked right at me, and he talked to me. I felt the hair on the back of my neck stand up. What did he say? Marcus swallowed hard. He said, you all came back. Good. Now none of you are leaving. A 6-1A. I needed to know what we were dealing with. I told Jade and Marcus to stay put. I unlocked the library door and cracked it open 2 inches. Corridor B stretched out in front of me, lit only by the dim red emergency strips along the floor, rows of lockers on both sides. Total silence. And then, at the far end of the hallway, a figure, standing with his back to me. A moving tweed jacket. Gray slacks. Gray hair. The posture was unmistakable. I had sat in that man's classroom for 2 years. Mr. Calloway. I watched him for 5 full seconds. He didn't move. Then, slowly, as if he'd known I was there the entire time, he began to turn around. I shut the door. I pressed my back against it and slid down to the floor. Jade was kneeling beside me in an instant. What was out there? I could barely get the words out. His eyes, I said. They were white. All the way white. No pupils. No iris. Just white. 6:33 am. Marcus told us everything. He'd been in the sports equipment room after school when the lockdown started. When he tried to leave through the main corridor, he'd seen Calloway just standing in the hallway, completely still, staring at the wall, and then Calloway had turned and smiled at him this wide, wrong smile that didn't reach those empty white eyes, and Marcus had run. While Marcus talked, Jade had been quietly digging through the school's emergency notification app on her phone. It ran on cached data, so it didn't need Wi-Fi or a signal to show old records. She stopped scrolling. Hughes. Her voice was very flat. Look at this. She held up her phone. The school's official emergency event log. Last entry, timestamped 3:47 Lockdown initiated. Reason, unauthorized entry. Suspect description, male, gray hair, tweed jacket. I read it twice. 3:47, I said. That's an hour before the intercom announcement. The lockdown started an hour before they told us, and during that hour, Jade said quietly, nobody said anything, nobody needed to say what that meant. 7:10 am. I was pacing through the reference stacks, too restless to sit still. when I pulled out a Westbrook yearbook from 2019 just to have something to do with my hands. I flipped to the faculty section. There he was, Mr. Daniel Calloway, smiling, that same warm, genuine smile every student at Westbrook remembered. Beneath his photo, beloved teacher of 17 years. I turned the page and stopped. Someone had written in the margin of the next page, heavy pen, pressed deep into the paper, like the person writing it had been pressing down as hard as they could. They won't let me leave. Nobody knows what they do in the basement. I found out. I saw it. Now I can't do anything about it. If you were reading this, do not go to the basement. Below it, a signature. Daniel. I brought the yearbook to Jade and Marcus without a word. Jade read it twice. Her face went very still. Tyler, she said, if he wrote this, he didn't die of a heart attack. No, I said, he didn't. 7:44 a.m. The intercom came back on. This time the voice sounded completely normal. Mrs. Henderson, warm and steady. Attention, students. The lockdown has been lifted. All students, please report to the main gymnasium for roll call. I repeat, lockdown has been lifted. Please proceed to the gymnasium. Jade stood up. Should we go? Marcus grabbed her arm. Wait. He pointed toward the door. We listened. Footsteps in the corridor. A lot of them, moving together, all in the same direction. But there was no talking, no voices, no shuffling, no laughter, none of the noise that comes with a crowd of teenagers. Just synchronized footsteps, moving like a single machine. I cracked the door open. A girl passed in the hallway, Emily Stanton, a freshman I recognized from the lunch period. Her eyes were completely white. I closed the door. 8:15 a.m. I know what the yearbook said. I know, but we couldn't just hide in the library forever. We needed to understand what was happening, and the only place that might have answers was the one place Calloway had warned us not to go. We took the back stairwell down to the basement. The heating units hummed in the darkness. Old filing cabinets lined the walls. The smell of dust and old paper. And then, near the back of the main corridor, a door that was standing slightly open. A smell came through it. Antiseptic, chemical, clinical. I pushed the door open. The room inside was wrong. There was an old metal table in the center, the kind you'd see in a surgical suit. Medical equipment on rolling carts, and along the walls, a network of wires and electrodes, needle leads, the kind I'd seen in my neuroscience unit. Enough equipment for 6 subjects. And along the far wall, 6 tall metal lockers. 4 were shut and padlocked. 2 were hanging open and empty. I looked at the 4 locked ones. They were breathing from inside. Slow, rhythmic breathing. 4 people, alive, locked inside those containers. Jade pressed herself against the wall. Oh God, open them, Marcus said. The lockers weren't padlocked, just latched. I pulled the first one open. Principal Henderson collapsed forward into my arms. She was unconscious, wires attached to her scalp, barely dressed, but alive, breathing steadily. Second locker, Coach Davis, same condition. Marcus started unhooking Henderson's leads, hands shaking. This is how someone sounded like her on the intercom, Jade said. They went imitating her. They recorded her. They had access to her voice, her patterns, everything. Henderson's eyes fluttered open. She looked at me. Her voice was barely a whisper. You were the students. Tyler Reeves, I said. We are going to get you out. Can you stand? She gripped my arm. Listen to me. The man behind this, he has people outside too. When you get clear of the building, don't call anyone at this school. Don't use school channels. Call 911 directly. Understand? Yes. And the basement, there are research files in here. If they destroy those files, there's no proof, no case, nothing. She looked at me hard. I understood what she was saying. 90 p.m. Doctor. Richard Harmon stepped through the doorway. He was in his late 50s, silver hair, wire-rimmed glasses, an expensive suit. I've seen him before school board meetings, the occasional assembly appearance, the kind of adult who was always just there, in the baccalaureate round, unremarkable. "Everybody relax," he said pleasantly. "I know this looks alarming, but I want to assure you that no one has been permanently harmed. None of us moved. What you were seeing here," he continued, "is the result of 11 years of research, neural compliance testing. We study the relationship between induced fear responses and social behavior. The students you saw in the corridor tonight, they experienced a brief period of neural modulation. By tomorrow morning, they won't even remember tonight. You used students as lab rats," Jade said. "I used willing subjects who weren't aware they were consenting," he replied calmly. "There's a distinction." "And Calloway," I said. The calm didn't waver, but something behind his eyes did. "Calloway was an accident," he said. "He discovered the project 3 years ago. He wasn't cooperative. You killed him," Marcus said. "I made a decision that protected 11 years of work and dozens of careers." He said it the way you'd say you took a different route to avoid traffic. No emotion, no hesitation. He reached into his jacket pocket and removed a small handheld device. "Now, I am going to need all 3 of you to sit down." I grabbed the nearest shelf unit and threw it directly at him. "Ron, 917 M." We ran. Corridor, stairwell, upper floor. The synchronized footsteps started closing in from 2 directions. Students with white eyes moving silently through the hallways, converging. "Library," Jade shouted. We made it. We barricaded the door with every heavy piece of furniture we could grab. The door started shaking. "Fire escape," Marcus said, breathing hard. "Side window." I saw it the first day of school. "It's old, but it's there." He was right. A rusted iron escape ran down the outside of the building from a window in the library's east wall. I helped Henderson to her feet. Jade and Marcus got the window open. "Go," I said. "All of you. I'll be right behind you." Jade looked at me. She knew exactly what I was about to do. "Tyler, the files." "Jade." Henderson said it. "If there's no proof." "I know." She held my gaze for 1 second. "Be fast." 9:34 a.m. The basement research room was empty. Harmon was somewhere upstairs. I moved fast. The files were in 2 large binders and a locked metal cabinet, which wasn't actually locked, just closed. Inside, 11 years of documentation. Subject names, test dates, procedure logs, incident reports. And at the back of the cabinet, a folder labeled in red marker, Subject 0D Calloway. I opened it. Inside was a handwritten note. I recognized the handwriting from the yearbook margin. "If anyone finds this, I am not dead. I want to be clear about that. I am alive. What Harmon did to me is not what he told people. My body is under his control. They use me when they need someone to scare off investigators. My nervous system responds to their equipment, but my mind is still here. I am still here. I can't stop it. I can't make myself move when they are not running the signal. Please, please find the files. Please get someone to look at what they built in this room. Please get me out." Daniel Calloway. I stood there for a long moment. Then I photographed every single page in that cabinet. 47 photos. Every piece of evidence I could find. And then I ran. 10:03 p.m. Harmon was waiting at the top of the basement stairs. Just him, the device in his hand. "Smart kid," he said. "You took photos. But you have no signal, and you were alone in a locked-down building." He tilted his head. "The photos don't leave this building, Tyler. My friends are already outside." "I know. I watched them go." He stepped down 1 stair, "and when you came back instead of following them, I knew you'd gone for the files, which means you know everything." He almost sounded impressed, but knowing and proving are 2 very different things. He raised the device. I grabbed the biology textbook off the nearest shelf, hardcover, 1,400 pages, 4 pounds, and threw it directly at his hand. The device hit the floor. He dove for it. I was already running. 10:21 p.m. I came down the fire escape in about 4 seconds. Jade was standing in the parking lot with Marcus, Mrs. Henderson, and 3 Columbus police cruisers, real ones, this time. Jade had gotten 2 blocks from the school before her signal came back. She called 911 directly, like Henderson said. The officers had arrived 6 minutes later. I handed the first officer I reached a list of everything: the files, the photos, the room in the basement, the subjects still locked in those containers, all of it. Harmon was arrested inside the building 20 minutes later. 3 school board members were taken in for questioning the same night, November 15th, just after midnight. The 6 students whose eyes had gone white were transported to Aleut State Medical Center. By the following afternoon, all 6 were fully recovered. No permanent neurological damage. Most of them had fragmented memories of the evening. Some remembered nothing at all. Mr. Daniel Calloway was found in a hidden annex behind the main research room. He was alive. He had been alive for 3 years, held in that basement, his nervous system wired to Harmon's equipment, used as a prop whenever someone got too close to the truth. He spent 2 months in rehabilitation. I visited him once, near the end of his stay. He didn't say much. He just took my hand and held it for a while. I didn't say much either. There wasn't a lot to say. 6 months later, Harmon's trial is ongoing. It's become national news, the kind of story that gets a documentary, a Senate hearing, and about 40 think pieces about the ethics of human experimentation. Marcus has been interviewed by 3 different news outlets. Jade is already interning at the local news affiliate. She says she's going to be a journalist. I believe her. Meg, I still have trouble sleeping, not for the reason you'd expect. Not because of Calloway, or the white-eyed students, or Harmon's voice saying my name in that stairwell. I can't sleep because last night, at around 2 in the morning, I got up to get a glass of water, and I looked out my bedroom window at the street below. There was a figure standing in the parking lot of the apartment complex across the road, completely still, staring directly up at my window. I raised my hand. It didn't move. I turned on the lamp to get a better look. Even from 2 floors up, in the middle of the night, I could see clearly. Its eyes were white. Harmon said his testing was isolated to Westbrook. 11 years of work, he said. 1 school. But I've been thinking about that a lot lately, because a project like his, the equipment, the funding, the secrecy, that doesn't happen at 1 school. That doesn't stay in 1 city. I've been thinking about how many school board members there are in this country, how many basements, how many Callaways nobody ever found, and I've been thinking about that figure in the parking lot, still there when I checked again at 4 in the morning, gone by sunrise. But here's the thing that keeps me awake. When I looked out the window at 2 I hadn't told anyone which apartment was mine. You all came back. Good. Now none of you are living.